Wow, highest grossing November movie of all time? Congratulations, Coogler. And Kevin Feige and Marvel and Disney, of course. Alright, so Black Panther Wakanda Forever has been out for a weekend now. And yeah, now I remember, it's right over left. So now comes my big long spoiler talk. If you have somehow not seen this movie yet, I don't recommend watching this video because it will spoil everything. Then again, I'm pretty sure you have seen this movie, so you're fine. You get the gist. Let's talk about this 2 hour and 40 minute long tribute to Chadwick Boseman. There he is. King! So starting off this movie, oh my god. The very first scene in the movie is one that goes right for the jugular. We're in Shuri's lab, it's one long take, and she's trying to synthesize a cure for her brother who is dying. So yeah, the movie starts off right away, we're trying to save T'Challa. Alright, well we know it's not gonna end well. Holy shit, who saw this coming? And it ends with Queen Ramonda coming out and saying, "Your brother is with the ancestors." Yeah, that was tough to watch. But actually, after thinking about it for a bit, I find that this scene is actually necessary. For the larger scope of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that is. Cause let's project ourselves 10 years into the future, right? We're rewatching the Marvel movies, okay, so Black Panther, Infinity War, Endgame. Going right to Wakanda Forever, we're like, well, what happened to T'Challa? Oh, this scene here in the beginning explains it. So yeah, I get it. And actually, we learn here that Shuri is trying to manufacture a synthetic heart-shaped herb, which makes sense since in the first movie, Killmonger burned all the real stuff. I was wondering about that. I was like, if Shuri is gonna become Black Panther in this movie, is there gonna be a heart-shaped herb, or is it gonna be like Falcon becoming Captain America, where he doesn't have that super stuff? They could have done that with Shuri as Black Panther, but no, we have Shuri manufacturing a synthetic one. Alright, fair enough. And so, in MCU canon, or at least in this universe, T'Challa has passed away from an uncurable illness. I do appreciate the fact that they actually explain, they give a cause of death, out of respect for Chadwick Boseman. Alright, good, they didn't go the Finn Hudson route. They didn't go into detail on the illness, they didn't have to. It was enough explanation for me. And so then the movie fast forwards 1 year later, Wakanda is vulnerable without their protector. We get to the scene on that ship in the middle of the ocean at night, with Lake Bell, which is funny. Because I heard she was going to be in this movie for like one scene. But hearing her talk, I was like, oh yeah, there's Poison Ivy from Harley Quinn. But then I was like, she actually kind of sounds like Scarlett Johansson a little bit. Which would explain why she voiced Black Widow in What If. I just like that a lot. But then this big tanker is attacked not by Wakanda, but by Talokan. Wakanda is blamed for this attack because Talokan, unlike Wakanda, has remained secret. But yeah, these Talokan Neal, as the people are called, they attack the ship, and I love the fact that they have sirens. That was awesome. The music here is so eerie and haunting. They have these siren calls, and these people get hypnotized and start walking and jumping into the water. It reminded me of the mermaids from Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides, or better yet, the TV show Siren. Yeah, that's better, because I'm still salty over its cancellation. But there's just something I love about mer people having sirens, that hypnotic power. That's something exclusive to fictional people who live in the ocean. I just love that. There's something just so alluring about it. But the whole reason for this attack in the first place is because we find out that there is a device down at the bottom of the ocean that can detect vibranium. And so yeah, there is vibranium at the bottom of the ocean. Wakanda is no longer the only country with vibranium. We learned that Talokan has it too. And we hear that this vibranium detector was designed by an American scientist. I was like, I'm pretty sure I know who it is. Yep, it's Riri Williams going to MIT, Tony Stark's alma mater, and of course, Boston Strong. I'm not from there, but I went to Berkeley. Anyway, Riri Williams is awesome. I do love the scene where Shuri and Okoye go into her dorm. Okoye is just being intimidating as fuck. It was really funny. It's okay though, she'll meet her match in a little bit. Still touching on Ironheart though, I love the fact, yeah, of course I noticed this. Her first real flight scene in her Mark I armor is reminiscent of the first test flight scene in Iron Man 1, where he took his Mark II armor out and he flew all the way up and then it froze. And he's dropping and then at the last second he gets his power back and he zooms away. Same thing happened here with Riri Williams. She didn't freeze, but she did fly way up high and then she dropped and then she got her power back at the last second. I was like, nice touch. But then we get to the fight scene between Atuma and Okoye. This scene was awesome. Because they're fighting and there's no score in the background, there's no music, and they are evenly matched, man. I was actually honestly worried that Okoye could have died in this scene. And that was because there was no score in the background. So it was just tension building up because Atuma ends up kicking her ass. I thought that was great because Okoye, we all know Okoye is a badass warrior. She is not easily taken down, so to see her being taken down by this Talakanil warrior, That really does illustrate how much of a threat these guys really are. If one of their warriors could take down Okoye, yeah, we're in trouble. So that made for a great scene. Honestly, one of my favorite action scenes in the movie. And so Shuri and Riri are taken away by Namor to his kingdom. The next morning, at the crime scene, we see that Julia Louis-Dreyfus once again reprises her role as Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, director of the CIA. Yeah, we know that now. Didn't see that coming. I was surprised. So I was like, alright, so this movie's gonna have a little bit of build-up for Thunderbolts. That's cool. I mean, there's no real build-up for Thunderbolts in this movie, but just the fact that she's here, I call that build-up. Just let me have that. And we also learned that she and Everett Ross, Martin Freeman coming back, they used to be married. Oh shit, alright, so there's gonna be some drama there. That made for some good comedy moments in this film, actually. I will say, though, that their whole side arc honestly didn't need to be in it. I mean, I guess I know why it was in it. Probably because Martin Freeman was contractually obligated to come back. And it's not that I don't like their scenes. I do. I can just see, objectively, that they are ultimately unnecessary for the grand plot of the film. That's all I'm saying. Back in Wakanda, we get to another one of the best scenes in the movie. I mean, this is a bad thing that happens, and I'm talking about, of course, the scene where Okoye gets demoted. Holy shit, Angela Bassett's line delivery here. This scene is the one where I'm like, yeah, she should probably get nominated for Best Supporting Actress. It's this scene right here because she is pissed that her daughter got taken away. She puts that on Okoye's shoulder. She's like, you were responsible for her, and you failed. I am the leader of the most powerful nation in the world. My entire family is gone. That's on you. Yeah, you see her reasoning for sure. But we also see Okoye's reasoning. She has dedicated her whole life for this country. She pointed a spear at her husband for this country. Which I didn't know she and Wakabi were married. I knew they were together, I just didn't know they were married. Are they married still? If I had to guess, nope. But yeah, point is, Angela Bassett should get nominated for this scene, because oh my god. And so now we get to the part of the movie where we explore Talokan. First off, we get Namor's backstory. Alright, here we go. So he was born a few centuries ago. And he was different because he was born to a family of Mayans. They were attacked, so they fled to the water. One of their deities granted them a heart-shaped herb-like plant, which made them into the blue people they are now. Namor's mother was pregnant with him at the time, and so when he was born a mutant. He said it himself. That was a cool Easter egg. What I like most about this backstory, though, is his name. He derived it from the Spanish words for no love, no amor, namor. I was like, damn, okay, whoever wrote that, props to you. Because I'm pretty sure that was not from the comics. So now he wants to wage war on the world for the enslavement of the Maya all those centuries ago. Oh, alright, well, okay. So you're basically kind of like Killmonger. You have the same goal, really. Waging war on the world. I'm just saying. But now we see the city of Talokan, and I will say, it's dark down there. I get that it can't look exactly like Atlantis from Aquaman, but I guess that's why I do prefer Atlantis over this, because they did do it first, and it looks cooler. At least in my opinion. Talokan, you can barely see anything. Yeah, full transparency, cards on the table. I was pretty unimpressed by Talokan as a whole. Visually speaking, anyway. I do hate saying that. I know a lot of work went into it production-wise. I just felt there wasn't a whole lot to look at, compared to some other underwater kingdoms I've seen in movies. That's all. Fast forwarding a little bit after Riri and Shuri are saved by Nakia, I want to talk about the scene where Talokan attacks Wakanda and floods it. Because really, I just want to talk about Namor's awesome aerial action scenes, because holy shit. Like I said, he's such a badass in the air. He looks like Peter Pan, because he does. But even so, man, he's just going all over the place, attacking the ships. He does that skirt mid-air and turns around. He was just doing all sorts of crazy stuff. I was like, Namor's a badass. That was definitely another one of my favorite action scenes in the movie. Another statement that kind of leaves a bitter taste in my mouth because of how it ends. It ends with Queen Ramonda giving her life to save Riri from drowning. Yeah, Queen Ramonda dies in this movie. I didn't see that coming. We were already dealing with the loss of T'Challa, now we gotta deal with another one? I kinda get the feeling that that was written in the script, like, before Chadwick Boseman passed away, possibly? Like, in early pre-production for this film, they were like, alright, we're gonna kill off Ramonda in this movie. Oh, well, Chadwick. Alright, now we gotta deal with the loss of two characters. I don't know if that's how it went down, that thought just crossed my mind. But yeah, rest in peace, Queen Ramonda. You were a badass in this movie with your line delivery. Dude, seriously. Nominate her. Nominate Bassett. A Black Panther movie's won an Oscar before. It can happen again. So that leaves Shuri as the only surviving member of her family and now the Queen of Wakanda. Yeah, this is something that she was not prepared for. But now she has no choice. She has to step up to the plate. And so, after finally successfully recreating a synthetic heart-shaped herb, she goes to the ancestral plane, which, alright, yeah, here's where we get into Shuri's character development and her psyche. Because earlier in the movie, we actually learned that she didn't initially believe in the ancestral plane. I actually really like that. She's a different character than everyone else. She's her own person. And I get that her being a left-brained science nerd, she wouldn't believe in more spiritual stuff. Not until she sees it with her own eyes. And who does she see in the ancestral plane? Not a CG recreation of her brother, not her father, not her mother. She sees Killmonger, Michael B. Jordan, coming back for a surprise cameo. Which, first thing I thought was, alright, Coogler, you retain your streak. Every movie you've directed still has Michael B. Jordan in it. You saved yourself there. If you come back for a third Black Panther movie, I don't know how you're gonna swing it. But also, this scene, man. This exchange between Killmonger and Shuri is one of the best dialogue scenes in the movie. Because they're talking about their ideals, and we do learn that, yeah, Shuri and Killmonger, they're really not so different. Shuri wants to get shit done. She has that vengeful spirit in herself that T'Challa did not have. Killmonger even says, your brother was too noble. Do you want to be like your brother, or do you want to take care of business like me? And so when Shuri finally dons her new Black Panther suit, we see that the gold accents on the suit, they are reminiscent of Killmonger's gold accents on his suit. I love that. That was a great touch. Because now she's like, alright, Namor killed my mother. He's gotta die now, and I gotta be the one to do it to him. I was like, holy shit. I did want to cheer when she came down and landed in her first big dramatic entrance as Black Panther, but no one else in my audience did, so I didn't want to be the weird one. Doesn't change the fact that, in Shuri's own words,
the Black Panther lives.
You said it, girl. So now we're coming up on the climactic end fight of the movie. Everyone's gathering for the big fight on this ship in the middle of the ocean. Okoye and Aneka are Midnight Angels now. They get new armor, which looks really cool. Apparently, the Midnight Angels are a group of Dora Milaje in the comics, so that's cool. They adapted that. Ironheart comes in with her Mark II armor, which, okay, who else thinks this looks Power Rangers-esque? It totally does, right? It looks like a Power Ranger something or other, but to me, it still looks really cool. Like, it's a really cool Power Ranger. Still not quite at the design she has in most of the lore, but I imagine we'll get there in her series in Phase 5. She's still a badass in this end fight, though. And so Shuri fights Namor, and at first, when they're fighting hand-to-hand, I was like, oh, she's gonna be no match for him. I mean, let's face it, Namor is much more skilled in combat. Shuri's never been, like, a fist fighter. She was the techie, now she's gotta fight. Dehydrating Namor was a good call, but it still doesn't stop Namor from kicking her ass and impaling her. Holy shit, that was tough to watch. I was like, what, is she gonna die? She doesn't die. She actually pulls herself out. I was like, ooh, that's painful. She gets the upper hand. She cuts off one of his wings. I wonder if that's permanent. And then she Anakins him, sets him on fire. And she is about to kill him. She is gonna do it. I would have believed that without her mother calling out to her, she would have done it. She would have gone through with it. But Ramonda's spirit does call out to her. She says, show him who you are. And in a great homage to T'Challa, she actually channels one of his quotes. She says, vengeance has consumed us. We can't let it consume our people. I was like, oh, that's a great callback to T'Challa's first appearance in the MCU in Civil War when he was talking to Zemo. And so all is resolved between the Wakandans and the Talokanil. They have a truce now, so victory! And Namor lives. The movie ends, I guess, with Shuri leaving Wakanda or something? We see her, she goes down to Haiti to talk to Nakia. But then at the whole, like, ritual waterfall ceremony that we remember from the first Black Panther movie, M'Baku comes out and he's like, I am here to challenge for the throne. I was like, okay, the movie kind of left that unclear. Like, is he gonna be the new ruler of Wakanda now? My question is Shuri's absence temporary or permanent? Like, I don't know. The movie doesn't tell us. She could have been just down in Haiti for a weekend. She comes back to Wakanda and be like, hey, M'Baku, what gives? Not cool, man. I just don't know. I hope they explain that someday. And also, Namor's conflict is left open a little bit. His last scene is where he's talking to his cousin, Namora. And I forget exactly what he says, mostly because I had to read that whole scene. But it was something along the lines of, alright, now that we have Wakanda as an ally, we should have no problem in our big endeavors. So is he still planning on waging war with the surface world? I don't know. Again, it's unclear. At least to me. One thing we know for sure, though, is that we will certainly see Tenoch Huerta as Namor again. Because he was awesome in this movie. Maybe he'll be in Black Panther 3. Maybe he'll get his own title. Who knows? I guess we'll see in time. Finally, we get to the mid-credits scene, where we learn that T'Challa and Nakia actually had a kid. Yeah, okay, sure he's an aunt. And the kid's name is T'Challa, son of King T'Challa. So this kid is T'Challa II. Alright, cool. I don't know if he had a kid in the comics, but I am wondering what this is gonna lead to. Probably some Black Panther 3 sometime down the line, if I had to guess. So in conclusion, Black Panther Wakanda Forever is a badass movie. I don't think it's as good as the first one. Like the first one, I would give a 9 or even a 9.5 out of 10. This, I would give a solid 8. The action scenes were badass. I love the character development of Shuri Okoye. Namor is a really interesting character. I totally can't wait for the next time he pops up in the MCU. Rest in peace, Queen Ramonda. Angela Bassett, I'm telling ya, MVP. The ending left it open. I don't know where it's gonna go. But as for the MCU's Phase 4, this may be the final movie, but it's not the final installment. That'll be the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special that airs on Disney Plus in just a couple of weeks. But yeah, I'm ready to wrap up Phase 4. I'd say this is the second best film in the phase. I still gotta give number 1 to Spidey Boy. But this movie is still great, one of my favorites of the year. Wakanda forever. That's how I'm gonna end this video. So my question, what do you think of that ending? Do you think Shuri's absence is temporary or permanent? What do you think might happen between her and M'Baku if she comes back? I want to know what you think about that. I want to talk about this. So whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And of course, thank you for subscribing. Peace!